Very good morning to every one of you, respected ma'am, respected teachers, and I equal you my co-mates at this college because I'm not a long-term alumni. Alumni basically means somebody who has studied in the past. My results have been just 2 months back, so I'm very much part of that side. It's very odd and very difficult. Believe me, my legs are trembling because sitting with the principal, it's a kind of an achievement also, but it's a fear factor. I'm speaking from here what I have learned from them. So am I up to the standards? They have been generous in speaking about me, about writing, but I think it's about their guidance, the way they accepted me here. It's very difficult. At 51, you come into LL.M with students not half your age. It's not that easy. You need that comfort level, and I got it here in the perfect manner. That is why I am standing here. Okay, I had a long gap in my academic career. 2018 to 21, I did LL.B from a college where I didn't attend the college. So I know how precious it is to be in the college. Because I didn't learn law in LL.B the way it should be. I'm very frank in admitting this. But when I came here, day one, first class of constitutionalism and pluralism online, first semester was online, I thought, rather I would say, I've said to myself I am at the right place. And from that day to the last exam, I have enjoyed and I have really, it has been a huge guidance to me where one should move in life and also the way one should move in life. Spending quality time with Kulkarni sir is a reward from the Lord. Believe me, I have learned so many things. It's not just about law. There is a saying, it's because of this occasion induces me to say this. डिग्रियां तो जो आपने रसीदें है ना, डिग्रियां रसीदें आपकी तालीम की. Degrees are just the money you paid for your education. असल इल्म तो आपके किरदार से झलकता है. तो मैंने जो किरदार कुलकर्णी सर ने पाया, और यहाँ के और भी टीचर्स ने पाया, दीपाली मैम नहीं है यहाँ, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जब क्लास लेती थी तो शिवानी मैम ऑल्सो, बिलीव मी, ऐसा लगता था ये कुछ देना चाह रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स. They used to prod every one of us. We are really lucky to be here. I don't know the reason, a lot of us, because they are doing degrees for a specific reason. They are not doing it in a way it should be done. Now, this is all about me. I should not prolong this. I am here not about me, I am here to speak about we the people, the Constitution of India. We are very blessed and fortunate people of this world. We live in a country which is probably, rather I would say, surely the best in the world. For a number of reasons. The diversity in India, the acceptance of differences is not available across the world, anywhere like it is here. And one of the reasons is the Constitution. We are blessed to have a Constitution which is incomparable to anywhere in the world for a number of reasons. Not just the size, the content, the way it has been analoged, the way it has been prepared 73 years back. Even today, we cannot find a fault. We will do amendments for the better. But it's nearly impossible to find fault with the Constitution. What is Constitution basically? All are law people, so we know Constitution basically are a set of rules, how the governance has to be done. They are the principles on which the legal basis of laws or the rules are formed. How a country, how people or a state or even an association can be governed, can be taken care of. But the main aim of any constitution is how much protection it gives to the people. How much it takes care of the people under it, people under the constitution. We have different types of constitutions, written, unwritten, okay. But the most important thing about a constitution is its effectiveness. And constitutions across the world get effectiveness if they match the standards of constitutionalism. Constitutionalism is not directly related to the constitution per se. Like if you somebody is following Hinduism, he is a disciple of the Hindu religion. For example, it's a matching thing. Constitutionalism is not something who is following the constitution. It is the framework in which the constitution works. It is the framework, how it is implemented, how effective it is. There is no reason to have a set of rules if they are not effective. For any purpose if they are made. But our constitution follows this formula of constitutionalism. That is the goal. That is the goal. And the way to reach is the constitution. Constitutionalism contains different aspects. Rule of law, separation of power, fundamental rights, independence of judiciary. And we see all these practically in our constitution, practically implemented. There are so many countries which have constitution, but they don't have constitutionalism. Many countries. An example is DPR Korea. The name itself says North Korea. There are two Koreas. North Korea, everyone knows it's a dangerous country. Why? Merely dictatorship. But it has a constitution and it is called DPR Korea, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. How much the people have authority, I doubt it. We know it's very difficult. We cannot judge others from here. Maybe, like China, a lot of us have an opinion. It is not necessarily that they don't have rights. This is what perception based on the information we have. Maybe it is different. Similarly, I give this point to DPR Korea, but factually we know the ruler there and the laws there. But look at India. The difference. Because constitutionalism is implemented in a proper way to make the constitution effective. Constitution means, as I said, a rule book. Now, constitution is how long, since when it has been here. I think as humans, we all are born as good people. No human is born with something bad. Why the rules come into place is for protection, as I said. Protection from what? Protection from indifference, discrimination, wrong things. But as humans, we are naturally born with a good instinct. It is only when we become a part of the society, greed, competition, and the other things related to it leading to crime, that has to be stopped, come into play. But basically we are good human beings. So why we need a constitution is to put in order all the rules in a proper manner to be effective. So constitution wise, historically background, I think when humans in ancient times, the concept of dharma, as we learn, what is that? Rules, natural law, divine law. And there we are getting the source. Through the ages, the Code of Hammurabi, that then the Magna Carta, 2015, the Bill of Rights in 1689, the UK one. These have developed into ending up basically with the US Constitution, which was the best example of having arranged everything properly. But we can't compare that with India in the sense that 7 articles with 448 articles is not comparable. I don't say that 7 articles do not contain a lot of things, they do. But see the interesting thing, why I am speaking about all this is, as I said, we have a gift of the Constitution, which all of us should keep alive. Our strength lies in the Constitution. Those 448 articles have answer to literally every situation, every condition. As the world is growing, 73 years, as I said, so much differences, but everything attached to it is right. Now the thing is, how did we get this such a perfect constitution? I am saying literally perfect. Because of the people there, because of the people who made these. They were real visionaries. Why it is sustainable today is because of the vision of Bhimrao Babasaheb Ambedkar, because of the vision of Jawaharlal Nehru, who brought in the objective resolution which later became the preamble. See their vision, impossible. See what they had at their hand. If you look at the debates of the Constituent Assembly and then the drafting committee gave, really you will be impressed by the contents. I was fortunate because during dissertation I went through some debates. The way they were conducted, I think it's an example even to fight cases in the field. If you see those words used, interestingly, all have been recorded. Everything is recorded. All the debates of the Constituent Assembly on this topic have been recorded. So what we got is from gem of a people. As I said, Dr. Saab, Jawaharlal Nehru, K.M. Munshi, we have even Shama Prasad Mukherjee, and all these were lawyers, interestingly. Many of them, most of the first Constituent Assembly, that Constituent Assembly from 46 to 49, most of them were lawyers. Many of them probably were lawyers. And of course, their way of living and their morals were much more different. The morality levels were much more different from what our leaders we have now. So it's not too easy to get those things back. We were fortunate to have them. The debates were conducted in a manner that even if today you compare, or for example, I've learned, all this I've learned here with Kulkarni sir, frankly speaking. These are not my words, most of them. When the constitution was made, we had a constitutional expert, B.N. Rao. The Constituent Assembly made a drafting committee, and during that period, during the discussions, there were a lot of issues. What has to be written, what has to be removed. Understand it. We today have everything. Google at our hands. I was told yesterday, I spoke to Shivani ma'am yesterday. Yesterday night I went through Google. What should I speak? So simple. You get everything to speak for. But imagine 1946 to 49, what resources they had. How difficult it would have been. But they did it perfectly. B.N. Rao was a constitutional expert who was brought in for the very purpose to get his expertise. He traveled across the globe. And he went to USA also. Before that, in the Constituent Assembly, Article 21, which probably was Article 15, was going to be Article 15, had the words that no person should be deprived of life, right to life and personal liberty. Due process of law was mentioned, originally. But after B.N. Rao, there was discussion, lot of discussion, and there was no agreement as such. When Mr. B.N. Rao went to USA, Justice Felix Frankfurter told him, this is not correct. If you put due process of law, these words would put a load on the judiciary, on the justice, people providing justice, because your democracy is a nascent democracy. Your nation is basically a nascent nation. We know when the British left, they had started preparing in 45, 44. They had taken away everything basically. The things of strength were being taken away because they knew they were going to leave. So what condition our nation was in terms of finances, in terms of religious trouble, fights, political issues. We were lucky to have the real leaders at that time. That is why we have a nation, one of the best in the world right now, because of their vision. Now when B.N. Rao went to USA, and what Felix Frankfurter Justice told him is that this is not good for you. Why? Because you are going to have a lot of reforms. And if you keep these words, due process in law, in the constitution, it will be very difficult for the people of the independent judiciary to provide justice. They will be having so many issues, and believe me, it turned out correct. It turned out absolutely correct, because had that happened, we know now what happened later on in the Maneka Gandhi case. We know it, that how the shift has been. The shift has been literally perfect. That was the need of the hour. So they did not put that due process of law words in Article 21. It did not have the role that it was non-effective. It was only that period of time it was taken care of. as the things opened up, as the country developed, the judiciary, very fortunately, has used those words, has used that right in a proper manner, and has given all of us so many rights. Now, we know our constitution. As I said, 448 articles, each having substance in them. I don't have the time to go and I don't have the knowledge to go through it, but the major articles which I know, Article 13, what an important article. Because we did not have fundamental rights earlier. We were under the British rule, under the colonial rule. Fundamental rights, the Constitution gave us through Article 13, through all the articles from 12 to 35, but 13 took protection of the fundamental rights in the sense that it made a division of laws before that time and laws after that. Article 14 talks of equality, and it is related to the three principles of Dicey. We know, as I spoke before, what is constitutionalism related here? The rule of law. And what is rule of law according to Dicey? Predominance of legal spirit, we have equality, and rule of law, the supremacy of law. So that equality of law we can see in Article 14 with both ways. We have a negative aspect of it and an affirmative action. To consider everyone equal, and those who are unequal, try to make them by an affirmative action. What wonderful things in the Constitution. How could they preempt everything? Article 15, non-discrimination with everyone, race, religion, everything. Article 16, which by Dr. Ambedkar is, I am not remembering the words, he said, complementary justice. It provides complementary justice, employment and opportunity. And we have had amendments to them to better those articles. Article 17, untouchability. This we can relate to the US Constitution and what Abraham Lincoln did through the proclamation. USA had a lot of issues with slavery. They removed it in a proper manner at the time it was needed. See, the diversity we have in India, no nation on earth has. And when I say again and again, it is the mission of those visionaries who made this constitution. It made us go through it so simply and easily through all factors that we have never ever thought of saying bye-bye to the Constitution. And I hope it will never happen. There are countries which have given up Constitution. As I told, they have countries which have Constitution, no implementation. Our neighbors across, no implementation of the Constitution. They have the rule book, but we have the implementation because of that vision. And that vision of constitutionalism has independent judiciary. We have had rulers who have been strict, rulers who have tried to impose their way. Mrs. Gandhi tried her best. She had to come back. There is no reason to doubt her approach. She was the best of the lot. If not, at least one of the best of the lot. Then there is no reason to doubt. But rulers, because we know, we always hear, power corrupts, and absolute power. So it goes right with everyone across the spectrum. But the independent judiciary, which also made mistakes, we are humans. We know Justice Bhagwati, a great man. He has given us so many things. He has accepted his mistake in A.D.M. Jabalpur case. Reasons, he said a number of reasons, but he knows the best. So as humans, also the judiciary makes mistakes, but still we have such a wonderful independent judiciary, which as we move from Article 17 onwards, we have so many other articles in between 25, 26, fundamental rights, others giving rights to minorities and everyone across the spectrum. Again, when we go to 21, as I told you, rule of law has played an important role. And it has brought in, as ma'am has taught in human rights, an umbrella of rights, right to life, right to education, See this wonderful thing. Right to education was not fundamental right. But as we progressed, we were a nascent democracy, a nascent nation with very little or bare minimum resources. One of the reasons why the American expert Justice Frankfurter told B.N. Rao to keep these words where we didn't have the resources to implement everything. PPSP. So many things in the directive principles should be in a nation, should be today also, which have not been implemented. It's the state's responsibility. But why? Because of the resources. But slowly we see 21A has become a fundamental right to education. Earlier it was not. Coupled with fundamental duties, which I think probably came in 1978, the 44th Amendment. Fundamental duties, Article 51A, right to education, and 21A. You can correlate. It is only the time factor and the situation which prolonged these rights for us. The visionaries had the correct vision. Sometimes you read, the constitution has been borrowed, it's a borrowed constitution. You have taken from so many things. When you build a nascent nation, when you build a house, you need to take different things from different places to be stable. We have taken so many wonderful things from different constitutions to be made. Everything which is the best there we have taken. We have taken from South Africa the amendments. South Africa itself was in apartheid, but we used its constitution for our betterment. We used the American Constitution for the fundamental rights. We used the UK Constitution for the rule of law. They gave us the rule of law. Ireland for the DPSP. We have taken everything, and that is because we have amalgamated everything in a structure which is effective. We have really made it effective in every sense. So I think, as I spoke of fundamental duties, we are all lawyers. It's not mentioned in those 11 duties. There were 10 originally, then after that 21A, they made the 11th one. I believe that we have a fundamental duty towards our nation to protect this constitution. As lawyers, we need to change the approach of our population towards us. The constitution begins with the preamble, we the people. Why? We are not writing it, but because we are the source of the constitution. We need to, as lawyers, understand this. It is our responsibility to safeguard this great constitution of ours and this great nation of ours by making it more effective, by considering it as our fundamental duty under 51A, even if it is not written. And when I say this, why? Because lawyers as such form the backbone of justice system, not just the judiciary, people practicing in the field, but the image has taken a beating. Here also in the college I have heard many times people practicing that things are not straight. Even my son, when I told him that probably I will go into the field as I told ma'am, the first reaction, his reaction was, तो झूठ बोलना पड़ता. They consider law, even isn't well. They consider law to be something which is not straight, when actually it's a weapon to give rights to the people. To everyone across the board, everyone. So I think I will culminate, it's gone very long, that it's a fundamental duty and we enshrine it in our actions to give rights to people. There was one occasion I was able to not speak at that time. When we had a debate on the people who were marginalized, the vulnerable people, there are so many across the field. An example is, we have constructions going on around everywhere. The female workers working there, they are so much vulnerable. जो दिहाड़ी पे काम करते हैं, They do not receive their payments on proper time. Where do they go? Most of them, since the issue was migration, ma'am, if you recall, all of you, that was migration issue. They come from other places. Do they have the rights here? Everywhere. Migration has an issue everywhere. But in our place, basically, where do they go for their rights? They work through the day. Many times the contractors whom they work under, they don't even pay them the money. Where do they go? They cannot go anywhere. Not to the lawyers, not to the police, not to the state. There are so many other things, which why I am saying is I am correlating this with our fundamental duties. All of us, including myself, first of all myself, we should ingrain in ourselves to get these rights to the deserving people. A lot of people need lawyers. I would like to thank everyone for listening patiently to me. As I told you when I came here, it was damn difficult. At 51 years of age, it was only the support of these teachers, support of the students who were with me. You don't know them, most of you. Like it became so easy. And with the patience you heard me, it became easy for me to speak. My legs were tumbling earlier, but now I'm okay. Thank you.